nothing better, too, than talking to my old friend Joe Klimchak, who has gone on to bigger and better things since we worked together back at WPIC and did high school action together for many, many years. How you doing, Joey?
Great, Mr. Sports. Great to be on with you. 30 years ago, bud. Wow.
That is unbelievable. And I had some great memories with you. I remember going to all those high school tournament games, and you and I were going. I didn't even know where I was going, quite frankly, in Western Pennsylvania. But, just being with you, and we had this camaraderie and this chemistry that I'll never forget, Joe. And I can't be prouder of you to what you have gone on to. Let's review some things about your life. You're an Aliquippa person, right? Native originally?
Yeah, born in Aliquippa, went to Center High School. It's now Central Valley. They merged with Monaca. I always like to just say Aliquippa because they have maybe a bigger and deeper sports history. But
Absolutely.
right, Aliquippa, Beaver County, and then went on to Grove City College. That got me into Mercer County and kind of the Youngstown scene, and that's when I hooked up with you, WPIC, WYFM, and then now I am in Pittsburgh. Working for the Pirates.
I just remember you always had this smooth style about you. I thought you'd go on to do play-by-play in sports. I'm sure that's your love, and you were very good back in those days, if I recall.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but I tell you what, it'd be like somebody like you, exactly like you. That'd be one of my many mentors along the way that was just so instrumental in my journey. I mean, those days, honestly, I was starstruck working with you. I was a college student. I was a junior at Grove City College doing the morning show. Filling in for Lynn Davis on the morning show with you and Scott, and gosh, I'll just never forget those days. Saying, "Oh my goodness, Mr. Sports is in that room right over there." That was back during the Gulf War. That was like 90, 91. That was crazy. But like that and working games with you, and again, just all the reps, and gosh, when it's in your blood, as you know, it's in your blood. I mean, you just kind of it's what you want to do. You feel like you're wired to do it, and you think about it, you read about it, you study it, you're just obsessed over it, and that's kind of the way I was. By the way, I have to say on the topic of high school, I tell you what, your two interviews so far today have been so great. I was doing some work listening to them in the background. I want to throw on a helmet and play for Jeff Baez and his son. Dude, they're awesome. I love their philosophies. I love everything about putting the kids first and having fun, and man, do they have it together. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, you got to follow. You got to follow the Struthers football program. I'm telling you, this is father son. Come on, that's unbelievable. You mentioned Grove City College. You were in fact involved with the Grove City football program, and I assume that you crossed paths with the great R.J. Bowers, who ran for over 7,300 yards at the time when he left Grove City. That was the most in NCAA history. I think he's now third overall, but. You went to Grove City and was involved with the football program and a number of other aspects with your old alma mater. I think you graduated in 1991 from Grove City.
That's right, John. Yeah, we graduated in 91 and then slid right into becoming the sports information director there. And that's an example of, my first love was announcing. I somehow, some way wanted to be either doing play-by-play radio or being an announcer in a big league ballpark. But sometimes the timetable, you can't get that right away. So I was kind of working part-time games on the side while I had to do a full-time job to pay the bills, and felt really blessed to have a job in sports and working for a great school, Grove City College. Loved it. And I was the SID there when West Middlesex's own R.J. Bowers was breaking records left and right. So that was quite a ride for this little Division III SID, getting national attention. USA Today called me, Sports Illustrated, but the press box, like it said, 8 people, I had 80. I had to accommodate.
Oh boy.
It was crazy, but it was so fun. And RJ's such a gentleman, and those were fun days.
Boy, Joe, being a sports information director at your alma mater, that had been a special experience. What did you learn during those times?
You know what? You learn how to develop relationships, and you learn how to develop a great work ethic, and that really, sports information directors, I tell you what, I have nothing but the utmost respect for them, and I work with some great ones too. Grove City has a great one, and Ryan Briggs, but Greg at YSU all those years, Greg Goulis, and oh my goodness, it's 24/7. You just have to love what you do. You have to, if you're married, you got to be married to a spouse that understands that crazy schedule, because it's days and it's nights and it's programs, and for me it was 18 varsity sports, plus I was the SID of the conference we were in, the President's Athletic Conference. So I was the school SID and the conference SID. But I mean, at the same time, it was sports, it's rosters, it's stats, it's releases. I was there at the time when the internet became a thing, and they're like, okay, design a website. I was like, I never did that. Well, we'll figure it out. So it's like, and I really never done publications before. You got to do a program, you got to do brochure, you got to do all these little game and that was all new to me. So I kind of learned on the job, but I felt like I gained some skills, and those are skills I really use even today.
Let's take you back to your childhood. Read an article on you. It's the year's 1976, our bicentennial year, and little Joe Klimchak. And I don't know how old you were at the time. You had to be a young buck. But 7 years old, you attend your first Pittsburgh Pirates game at Three Rivers Stadium. You saw the bright lights, and you saw your beloved Pirates, and it was love at first sight for Joe Klimchak, was it not?
It sure was. I mean, and that really started the ball. I walked in with my dad, first game, he said 76, the lumber company, and I instantly became more drawn by the ballpark experience, the atmosphere, like you say, the lights, the smells, the nachos, the cotton candy, the video
I love it.
Vince Lashide on the organ, and then this amazing voice comes over the public address system. It's Art McKinnon, the longtime PA announcer. He did PA for 50 years. And I was like, Dad, what is that? Where's that coming from? He pointed up to the fourth level at Three River Stadium. I was like, oh my goodness. I said, oh, it was so rich and beautiful. I said, Dad, somehow, some way, one day, I got to be an announcer in a big league ballpark. And for years, it was Three Rivers. I attended their games until 2000. My dad would say, you always were twisted around in your seat. You weren't watching the game. You had your binoculars. You were looking up at Lanny, and you were looking up at Art. And I was like, I was just so drawn by this guy. And that's what I wanted to do. So I found it that day and really never lost sight of that dream.
You know what's also amazing, and we talked about you graduated from Grove City, you worked for the university, you were an SID for your old college, but you're a communications major, and one of your teachers is one of your idols, the great Lanny Fratteri, the longtime voice of the Pirates. What was that like for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, there's been so many moments, John, because, I feel so blessed to have this job. Not a day walks by that I don't, when I walk onto the field before a home game, and gosh, right now, what time is it? Like, well, after 1 o'clock, we'd be 20 minutes away from the first pitch of our home opener. This is so sad. I'm like, this is tough today for Pirates fans. Of course, my heart, my prayers are with everybody, hoping everybody's healthy and safe, and feel so bad for those affected by this. Hopefully we're going to get through this. But, yeah, this would have been our home opener. So every day I walk onto the field for the pregame ceremonies as the in-game host of the Pirates. I look up at the video board, and it says home of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I have to pinch myself because it was guys like Art and Lanny that I just really idolized. And Lanny, I can't believe that. I actually have a picture when I was 11 years old from the seats behind the Pirate dugout. I turned around and took a picture of Lanny on the third level with his headphones on, waving at me. It's just a picture of me. It's a picture of Lanny waving at me. That's all. I was so excited to have him waving at me. And now to call him a friend, I've introduced him on the field many times. He had me down to Waynesburg this past school year. I spoke in his broadcasting class. I mean, you can't put a price on those moments. It's too much.
That's unbelievable. And your Lanny Fratteri would be my Joe Tate, in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
A similar type of idol and worship that I had for him. Let's talk about how you get on to the Pittsburgh Pirates. In-game announcer. I didn't even know, Joe. I know you were working with the Pirates for years, and I tried to follow your incredible career and your ascension after you left us at PIC and Grove City College. But describe in detail what your role is and how competitive that was when you applied for the Pirates in-game announcer back in the day, 16 years ago.
Okay. Well, I'll describe the position, and then I'll kind of give you the condensed journey that I took. Yeah. So as in-game host, that's a job that really wasn't even a thing until I think like the mid-2000s, like 2005, 2006. Certainly in baseball, it was kind of new. I think the NBA had it as a thing, but in baseball, essentially the in-game host is the person that hosts pregame ceremonies from the field, check presentations, first pitches, group salutes, those kind of things, VIP introductions. And then during the game, he or she is the person on the video board that hosts the games between innings. So it'd be like, for the Pirate games, it's the baseball quiz, it's Family Feud, the Box of Mystery, the Super Bucko Run, all those things, any special little announcements, that kind of stuff. If you have a post-game team concert, he's the person on the field or she who would introduce. But I've introduced REO Speedwagon, Sticks, crazy things, and it's been a fun ride. So it's really all fun. It's essentially, I look at myself as a fan with a microphone, running around the ballpark between innings. I'm the guy on the video board playing games, making winners. So that's what it is. Now, my journey to getting that position, it's one of those things where it really is true. If you stick at something, you can really make it happen because I was not a likely candidate to get this job. When I was in fourth grade, I still have the form. I do some school presentations, and I show this slide to the students I speak to. In fourth grade, there was only one kid in my class of 186 at center that had to have remedial speech training, and it was Joey Klimchak, because the form says 1979. I was 10 years old. And the reason for assignment: poor articulation. I garbled my words. I had a bad lisp. It was terrible, and I had that for so many years. And a lot of people can overcome that in 2 or 3 years. Even today, I have a kind of a lazy S. This is something I've always had with me, but I had to battle that, and I had to work hard. But it's something I wanted so badly to do this that I practiced relentlessly. I studied. Art McKinnon had some drills you could do to become a better announcer, like reading magazines start to finish, and when you messed up, you started all over again. So I read all my Sports Illustrated, and when I read all those, I'd read all my Mom's Family Circles and Women's Days. I was just obsessed by just kind of getting good. So eventually, let me fast forward to them go to Grove City College, and while I'm in college, I start writing letters to the Pirates saying, look, I'm really interested in being an announcer for you guys. I've been studying your announcers. Art, Tim DeBacco, who's the PA announcer now. I was like, you guys need a third announcer, because at the time, Tim DeBacco was the public address announcer. Art McKinnon, the longtime announcer, was the backup working games on Sunday because he was in his 80s. And of course, the PA announcer is not the in-game host. The in-game host is on the video board. The public address announcer is the guy in the booth announcing the batters as they come to the plate and making other announcements. So I was writing the Pirates letter saying, you need a backup to the backup public address announcer. And of course, they didn't go for that. They sent me all these rejection letters. I saved all those. I was like, oh my goodness. So I actually started writing letters to Art McKinnon. I said, Art, I'm such a big fan of yours. Is there any way that you can help me? And then he wrote me a letter back. Joe, thank you for all the kind comments, but I don't have the same contacts. I can't help you either. So I wrote Art back. I said, Art, is there any way I can watch you do public address for a game? And he said, sure. So he invited me and my wife, Jennifer. We were just at Grove City College. Went down for a game. I got to watch Art McKinnon in the PA booth do 6 outs of public address. I was like ready to jump out of my skin that day. but then 6 outs later, I'm back in the ballpark, and we're just kind of sitting there. I'm like, wow, you know what? I feel like I got closer, but I still didn't break through because they didn't have any offer. It was like they didn't say like, we'll keep your name on file. So anyway, here's my big break. Dave Hanahan, the late Dave Hanahan, who we both knew and loved.
Oh yeah.
Get this. This is
WPIC.
crazy. Yes, on the SID at Grove City College. It's the lunch break. I get in my car. I'm going to drive down the street, get a sandwich. I turn on WPIC. Mr. Sports, I have no idea why Dave read this story. But he said, hey, this just over the wire. The Pirates have announced today that this season they will be hosting high school baseball games after the Pirates games at Brewers on Sundays. The first game is going to be May 16th. It's going to be Derry against Greater Latrobe. I was like, oh my goodness. I skipped my sandwich that day, drove back to my, of course I called the Pirates saying, you need an announcer for those games.
Oh yeah.
And so they're like, okay, send us a tape. They said, okay, you can bill. You got to work for free. I said, no problem. So I did the high school games after Pirate games on Sundays for 2 years. That kind of got me in the door. Eventually they had an audition for the backup when Art was too old. I won the audition to become Tim's backup, so now I'm the backup PA announcer. Fast forward 2001, they open up PNC Park. I say, I'm the backup PA guy. I've only done like 7 games in 7 years. Can I do something more? They're like, well, you can actually be the guy that when the Pirates hit a home run, you hit this button and smokes can come out of the Pepsi bottle. Do you want to do that for 81 games? I said, sure. So I was the Pepsi smoke guy for 81 games. Then 2005 comes around, and I got my big break finally. We're actually my second big break. We're at a rehearsal. This is an in-game scoreboard rehearsal. We do these before the season starts in an empty ballpark. And on the rundown in the pregame, it said Radio MC, and I knew what that was. I knew that the Radio MC was somebody that would come to the ballpark. They'd be like, hey, I'm Mr. Sports from WYFM. Join me weekday morning from yada yada. And I knew that nobody was showing up for this rehearsal in an empty ballpark. It was snowing, and I had nothing to do as the Pepsi smoke guy. So I said to my director, I said, Eric, can I go down to the field? Can I stand in as the Radio MC for that? Since we're just doing a rehearsal. He said, sure, grab a microphone. Did that. He saw me. He liked it. He said, Joe, how about we make you the hostess? We're going to put you on the Riverwalk, give you a baseball quiz, and it ballooned to now it's pregame and 9-inning break. So that's the summary. But again, it's just pushing. It's perseverance. It's persistence. It's creating opportunities for yourself. And it's never quitting. It's never quitting. And getting some lucky breaks. But being ready, being prepared for that when you get that break. It's good stuff. I feel so blessed.
And even with the rejection show, I
Yeah.
just find it. And I saw that in you long ago. I don't know if you saw it in yourself as a young kid, but I saw that. I said, this kid's going to go on and be something, and you certainly have. It wouldn't surprise me one day if the Pirates say, "Hey, Joe, we love your work. You want to do more for us." You're also a motivational speaker. You do public speaker training. You've done voiceovers for various commercials. So, in this time of 16 years as the Pirates in-game announcer, do you feel like you've made even further inroads within the organization? When you walk around PNC Park with the fans, do people recognize you? That's a Joe Klimchak and everything. What's that feeling like for you?
They do Mr. Sports, but it's really for me that's cool. My girls, I have two girls that adopted from China that I love to death. They get some games too. They get a kick out of that. But for me, it's the best part of this job now. 16 years later, I don't just work the games. I'm on a year contract where I'm working special events at Spring Training, Pirates Fest, Pirates Caravan. But I love the community and the charity events that we do. Going to Miracle League fields where kids with special needs are playing baseball for the first time, announcing their name over the PA system. I thought my greatest story would be announcing like Jay Bell and Andy Van Slyke. No, it's announcing these special needs kids with these parents who are clapping, coming out of their seats. That's the feeling I love more than anything these days. And so, while I still love the games, it's kind of getting out, going to schools, inspiring kids, showing that you care, that you love them, that you believe in them, packing school backpacks, just kind of doing all that kind of stuff. That's been the best part of this job. And I love that it's grown to that. And it's really it's far and away the best part right now.
Let's take a look at the Pirates from a season ago. Yeah, it's been lean times. 69 and 93, fifth place in the National League Central. Some notable players: Josh Bell, power hitter, great player, first base. Colin Moran, 277 last year, 13 homers, 80 RBIs. Brian Reynolds came over in a trade from San Francisco, bolstered the offense. Unfortunately, Starling Marte, now a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks after a trade. But more importantly, a first-year manager, Derek Shelton, brings his own spin into it after being with the Twins for the past two campaigns. What's the talk in Pittsburgh like for the fortunes of the Pirates?
Well, I'm excited. I had a chance to be down there in Bradenton. I MC the pep rally every year down there, kind of get a pulse on what fans are thinking, talking about. It's split. I'm not saying everybody thinks we're going to turn this thing around quickly, but I like the mix of players. I certainly love the manager. I think Derek Shelton was a great pick, and I was a big Clint Hurdle fan too. I think Clint did a lot for the organization, but Derek, some breath of fresh air comes in. I think the players have responded really well to him. They love. He's maybe a little more relaxed. I think they had a lot of fun this past spring training. We have some good talent, some good young players. You mentioned a bunch of them: Josh Bell, Ryan Reynolds, Kevin Newman at shortstop, Moran, Jacob Stallings at catcher. Our pitching staff's going to be solid. I love guys like Steve Brault, Tyone when he comes back.
Musgrove.
Yeah, Musgrove, absolutely, for sure. This is Polanco's healthy again. It's one of those seasons. I can't wait for us to get started because it's one of those seasons that I think can be one of those like freak shows, surprise things. Where wow, this is a young group. Adam Frazier, they're having fun. They're putting things together. They're just playing baseball and winning some games. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people, and I'm excited.
I like that. And it's too bad because the ball club took a hit last fall with the troubles, the legal difficulties with Felipe Vasquez out of the bullpen. But, you're going to find these arms, and you're going to groom, and you're going to pull, and you're going to put together an organization. Why? To me, one of the problems is, with small market cities like Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and I recall years ago having an interview up in the booth when I was doing the Scrappers with Neil Huntington, who was involved in the front office with the Cleveland Indians. And I talked about the challenges and the difficulties of small market teams. You get this limited window of opportunity, and then these guys want to go out and get the big buck. You raise them from the time they're kids. They go through your farm system. They go through your team, and they finally start to make their mark, and then they leave your ball club in search of the New Yorks and the Chicagos and the Bostons and the LA in bigger dollars. So that window of opportunity in small markets like Cleveland and Pittsburgh is certainly a challenge.
It sure is. It it puts extra stress on your scouting department. You want to bring them in, and while you have that control over them, you gotta kind of win within that window. But I think I really have a feeling with the leadership now, Ben Cherington, our GM, and Bob Nutting, I do believe in him. He's the chairman of Pirates Charities too, so I love where his heart is, and and he wants to win. I know people kind of question that on social media and all, but I do see him when he's not on the camera, and he has a real heart for this team, and he wants to win. And I do believe that once we start making a little push, that he's gonna let Ben sign a couple guys and keep a couple guys. I think this is the blend. This is the mix that's gonna really take us to the level that we've been talking about for a long time, getting that sixth world championship.
Joe, who are some of the young kids that could spring on the horizon in 2020 Pittsburgh Pirates baseball scene that some people maybe aren't giving the notoriety to, that perhaps they should take a harder look at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly who they're going to call up this year, but the young guys are the guys that will actually be walking out onto the field in about 10 minutes now. It's a young group, and you mentioned some of them. Again, Newman is short, Cole Tucker, fans love him. Really, you go all the way around. Brian Reynolds is still just a couple years or a year out of his rookie year. Gosh, he's an all-star in my opinion.
314 last year, can't beat that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, for sure. And some good depth on the bench too. Some good utility guys that are going to contribute. So I'm excited. I feel you look down the roster, it really is all young guys, with the exception of just a couple. But a couple of those young guys are going to step up and be leaders here. I can't believe like a guy like Adam Frazier is actually a veteran on that team, but he's still young. Josh Bell, I think of him just like still as almost like a rookie, but he's like even just 3 or 4 years in, he's going to kind of stand up. And I think this is a mature group too, that they can take on that. Even at a young age, they'll take on that leadership role and really help this club.
You know, I think back, and I tell everybody this, and people don't believe me, Joe, that my second favorite baseball team growing up was the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bob Prince was another legendary voice, but Nellie Briles, I believe, was his color commentator in the mid-1970s. But I loved the Lumber Company and the Pirates. 1971, and Danny Murtaugh, Bill Verdon would later take over. I remember how great those Pirates teams were, and Stargell and Clemente and Alley and Stennett and Dave Justy and Ramon Hernandez and Bob Robertson and Bobby Robertson at first base, number 7, and I love it. And then 1979 of the We Are Family Pirates. So yeah, I tell you what, I've always loved them, and I got to tell you this too. And this is your second home, away from your natural home. PNC Park is an absolute jewel. I've been, I've been to the Indians ballpark, and I think what sets PNC apart, it's the atmosphere. It's built on the rivers. It's just a gorgeous scene. I love it. Even my daughter, who goes to Pirates games, will tell you that there's something magical about PNC Park. Everything about it is just special.
I appreciate you saying that. We hear that a lot from out-of-towners that come in. And, again, we don't take a single day for granted. Being on the river and the skyline, it lights up at night. It's beautiful. Win or lose, it's a great atmosphere. And just getting back to your point about this, you bringing up those great names, I'm getting the goosebumps as you're mentioning them, because, again, when you're a lifelong Pirates fan and you can roll off those names, I've had the chance, one of the side benefits of this job is getting to meet those alumni and interview them. And actually, I work their fantasy camp down in Florida, so I actually get to kind of hang out and eat with my heroes like John Candelaria and Omar Marino and oh my goodness, Jim Rooker. It's a family. It is. We are family, and hopefully we can bring that back again real soon.
Joe Klimchak, I can't thank you enough, and love to talk to you again. Go Buccos, right?
Let's go, Buck.
Go Bucka. Let's go Buck. Who was it? Benny Benack, I think. A long time. That's true. Did a song? I think it was during the Mazeroski 1960 title year. But Benny Benack released a song called "Let's Go Bucks" or something like.
The Bucks are going all the way.
Yeah, and it was like big, intimate, all the polka music, and I remember all the songs for the Steelers and the Pirates, and it's just an amazing community. And watch the transformation of the city of Pittsburgh. And I can remember being a kid, and we had relatives out there, and you go into Pittsburgh, it was a smoke-filled steel city and kind of dirty, quite frankly. And the in the renovation and what Pittsburgh's become, and it's a hot spot nationally, and how blessed we are, just a little over an hour and away here in Northeast Ohio to drive there and see what the warehouse and the district out there and all the restaurants and everything that has blossomed into this beautiful, beautiful place. Was it Point Park out there? I've been out there. Just stunning. And you're right in the middle of it, Joe. And I can't wish you nothing but the best of success, my brother. And anytime you ever need anything, I'm right here for you.
You betcha, pal. Thanks, Mr. Sports.
There you go. That's Joe Klimchak, the in-game announcer with the Pittsburgh Pirates, motivational speaker. I mean, what kind of job is that? That is a dream come true. Listen, his dream was to become the voice of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and who knows, with Joe's personality and they love him in the Pittsburgh organization, he might get that opportunity someday. But for now, he's very content and very happy with being the in-game announcer. He gets to walk around with a microphone, interview fans. He's up on the Jumbotron scoreboard, and he has a lot of fun and creating unique, different ways to keep the fans' interest, and that is so important. And he's developed that with Pittsburgh now in 16 years with the Pirate organization.